Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon on YouTube, and then I post it up to Facebook of the same name. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up. Click on that. It will have qualified therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka. Done. Okay, so I want to hit on the questions that I did not get to answer last time. Are people entitled to know whether a therapist has been reported for malpractice? If so, is this true in all countries? Well, I can't speak to all countries because I'm only here in the US and I only know about Arizona state laws. So every single therapist is licensed by each state. So each state has its own licensure. So the ACA fought really, really hard to get licensure in every single state because before anybody could just throw up a sign and say they were a counselor and then, practice. So licensure ensures that they've got the training, they've got the CEUs, they've got, a governing board, they've got, the whole thing. So what you can do is you can go to your state board and look up to see if there are any complaints against the person that you're thinking about seeing. And I would recommend that. I would. It's like before you decide to go see a therapist, check them out 10 ways to Sunday. Make sure that they've got a clean record. That's what you want to do. In other countries, I don't know. I don't know how other countries work, but I can just tell you how it is in the US and how it is in Arizona. So you can always Google and look up to see if there were any malpractice suits. That should be public domain, public knowledge. So, but again, other countries, I don't know. But here in the US, yeah, you should be able to look that up and see if there were any lawsuits involving malpractice with whoever you're thinking of going to. But I would check them out with your state board to see if they have any complaints against them. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you should do that. Absolutely. Because not all therapists are good. Not all therapists practice good practices, I mean, if you look at the reason why most of them get in trouble is because they are massively breaking the code of ethics. They're bartering, or they're having sex with their clients, or they're, doing all sorts of hinky things. It's like, no. You don't want somebody, or they get in trouble for not keeping records. You're supposed to keep records, at least here in Arizona, for 7 years. And a lot of therapists get into trouble for not keeping records that long. So yeah, you absolutely want to check that out. Make sure that they are doing good practice, good ethical practices, and keeping good records and keeping their records for 7 years. So, that's what I do. I've got multiple filing cabinets with different years on them. So, so I know which one's okay. That one, this is that year. Okay, it's been 7 years. I can start deleting those files now, but only on the absolute date of last service. So yeah, so that's what you want to do. Check them out. Check them out. Check it out. All right. Okay. Hi, Chris. I lost my precious 20s to a host of mental illnesses. I am now 33 and stuck in this anger phase. How do I let go of anger about a wasted youth brought on by parental abuse? Normal. Totally normal. So here's the thing. You have a right to be angry. You do. You have a right to your emotions. You have a right to what you're feeling. However, you do not want to unpack your bags in anger. You don't. Not a good idea, because you're just going to live there and it's going to be miserable. So do I have anger towards my dad? You fucking bet I do. Absolutely. But it comes and goes in like little spurts. It's like, yeah, that was fucked up. Thanks for playing. And if I need to, I'll write and burn a letter to him, dear dad, this popped up today. Fuck the fuckity fuck out of fucking fuck you asshole, or whatever it is I need to say, and then burn it. Let it go. There is a great book called Radical Forgiveness. Now, this is where a lot of targets of abuse get very confused with this. Please do not confuse forgiveness with having anything to do with the other person. It's not about absolving them. It's not about going, oh, you harmed me and that's okay. No, you harmed me and that's not okay. However, I'm not going to let you live rent-free in my head anymore, motherfucker. That's really what forgiveness is. It's like, it's about us. It's about us going, okay, it is what it is. Now what? Now what? In my case, my dad's dead. And I realized, and this is something to think about, with anger, I realized that I was staying angry at him as a way to keep him alive so I could fix him. How fucked up is that? Good evening and welcome to Codependency. So yeah, so you know, you got to figure out, okay, it's not serving you. So and realize I'm a Buddhist. So in Buddhism, there's a great, you know, story about anger is like picking up 2 hot coals intending to throw it at the other person, but the only one who gets burned is you. So what you got to do is you got to work through the anger first. Work it through. Get with a good therapist, a good therapist. So people get mad at me because I keep saying go to a good therapist, and there's a lot of bad therapists out there. Well, obviously they're not good therapists, people. Get with a good one. Check them out, get referrals, listen to other people. Did they like their therapist? Did they not like their therapist? Why? Etc. So you want to write this stuff out. You have a right to feel angry. You do. We were abused. Yeah, absolutely. You get it out of your head, get it onto paper, work it through, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, burn it, practice letting it go. Practice letting it go. So this is where people get screwed up. So the difference between compassion and idiot compassion. Compassion is going, wow, this was fucked up. I have compassion for myself because I was the target of this abuse. I have compassion for them because, Jesus Christ, they're suffering. Only suffering people behave like jackwagons. Sucks to be them. Wouldn't want to be them. Wouldn't want to live in their head for 2 seconds. It's so chaotic and so dark and so evil and so mean. No, 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 thank you. Sucks to be them. So I have compassion. That sucks. I get it. They're suffering. They've caused suffering. They are suffering. However, I do not need to have them in my life. I cannot love them into health. I cannot love them into sanity. I cannot fix them. I do not wish them in my life. Thanks for playing. That means either physically in my life or up here in my head. So get Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. The other one is Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. And basically, it is what it is. It's done. It's over. We can't change the past, but we can work on the now and what we're thinking, what we're feeling. We can acknowledge our anger. We can work it through. Anger always is the bodyguard of the softer emotions. So I can guarantee you underneath that huge amount of anger is a lot of sadness. Allow yourself to grieve. That's the important part. We get wrapped up in the anger. Why? Because anger is a primal emotion. It is part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And it stimulates the endorphins, dopamine, serotonins, norepinephrines, et cetera, going on in the brain. And it's a high. And we get addicted to it. Why is it that you think you go to the AA meetings and you see all the old dry drunks that are pissed as fucking hell that they're sober? Well, they're getting their hit off of being pissed as fucking hell. So, you know, that it's another way of getting high. So you've got to really start working through that and really acknowledge that underneath that anger, there is sadness. There is sadness. You went through a lot. You're a survivor of abuse. Hello, there is sadness. There was betrayal there. You got hurt. So start working on that underneath the anger. Acknowledge the anger, validate the anger, talk about the anger, but then get to what it is protecting. And it is protecting that soft, sad, hurt child. So work on that. Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor is a great one. So you don't want to unpack your bags in the anger. You want to work through it and you want to move on to the other side, but you got to allow yourself to get angry first. That's the thing. You've got to work through, why are you angry? What's happening? What's going on? And what's underneath the anger and all of that. So, but don't unpack your bags there. You don't want to live there. You don't want to live in anger. You don't. So get to the softer emotions that are underneath, the grief, the sadness, the betrayal, the hurt. That's going to help you the most. Okay, I hope that answered that question. And you have a right to anger. You have a right to your anger. You do. You just have a right to your anger. Okay, how do you tell the difference between narcissistic behavior and dementia if the behaviors are similar? Okay, well, narcissists have generally behaved that way their entire lives. Dementia comes on when the dementia starts hitting. So there is early onset dementia, and then there is the regular late onset dementia, Alzheimer's, basically. It does change the personality. So if the person was prior a sweet, kind person, and then the dementia starts shutting their brains down and shutting their personality down, yeah, it can seem like narcissism, but it's not. If that's not who they were earlier in life, that's not narcissism. Does that make sense? Narcissists are this way from the second they're popping out of the womb until the day they finally get the fuck out of our space. So, yeah, so that's not dementia. So you want to read up on the differences. So go to the Mayo Clinic and look up dementia or look up Alzheimer's and read up on that, and that should give you your answers. I resigned from a toxic job. 3 months later, my ex-boss sent me, oh, I think I answered this one already. So if toxic people are sending you things, now remember, in this time of COVID, the Hoovers are going on fast and furious. And narcissists don't like it when we get away from them, whether they're a boss, whether they're a friend, whether they're family, whether they're a romantic partner, whatever. So if we figured them out and just kind of went, ho, 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 we're done, thanks for playing, bye-bye, they will find excuses to continue to contact us or to continue to send us things, whether they're a boss or whatever. So don't fall for it. Don't respond. Don't. If you're done with that job and that boss keeps emailing you, you may want to keep that as evidence because that may be harassment. So yeah. They're crazy that way, and they want to continue the contact because remember, abusers need the drama triangle. They need a victim, they need a hero, and they definitely need a villain. So yeah, no, step out of it. It's not your job. Okay. I think I already answered that other one. Okay. How do you deal with grief/stress during isolation? Journaling has helped, but I find I have very little patience for myself. Oh, bunny. Okay, so here's the deal. When we are raised by abusers, we don't have patience for ourselves. We don't, because nobody had patience for us. Nobody taught us how to be patient with ourselves, how to be patient with other people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, my dad was super impatient. I mean, like if you were told to do something, you know, like when he said jump, you had better ask how high. And if you didn't, you were going to get punished like immediately, you know, like backhanded kind of thing. So, okay, so how to deal with that, how to deal with patience, how to teach yourself patience. So really what it's going to be working on the inner child. How much patience do we need to have with kids? A ton. And who is inside of us? Little child that was abused. And so we develop patience by learning to have patience for that inner child, by working the Inner Child's Workbook by Catherine Taylor, the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, by doing guided imagery, holding that inner child on our lap and just loving them and hugging them and kissing them and telling them how amazing they are and what great little kids they are. That's how we start learning patience. You also start giving yourself permission to have patience. So looking in the mirror, hi, good to see you, have a great day. I give you permission to have patience with yourself. Have a good day, and then walk out. Seriously, that's the way to start doing it. So it is hard because we haven't been given the tools for how to learn to have patience for ourselves. So you start with the mirror work, you start with the Inner Child Workbook, you start with the Self-Esteem Workbook, and you start noticing, okay, I'm journaling about this. Why don't I have patience? Who didn't have patience with me when I was a child? That's going to help you the most. So start working those things, start doing the mirror work, start giving yourself permission to have patience. Okay. Is there any other questions? Hang on. Okay. Is it common to lose friends after going through therapy and the workbooks? Yes. I do find myself without friends and being triggered. What should I do? So here's the thing. When we start changing, okay, people have two options at this point. The people around you either need to grow with you or they fall away like so many dead branches. So when we start doing the workbooks and we start seeing the bad behavior and we start drawing good boundaries, disordered, dysfunctional people do not like that. They don't like it because they don't want to have to grow. They don't want to have to change. You know, if you, the relationships that don't work are the ones where somebody digs their heel in and says, I don't have to change. I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to do. Okay, well, your partner is going to continue to grow and she or he is going to kick you to the curb because you're not doing the work, you know? So, and it's the same thing with friendships. So we do find ourselves feeling alone. And of course, in this time of, you know, quarantine, it's kind of weird, but think of it this way. It's like cleaning out our closet, spring cleaning. We're getting rid of the clothes that no longer fit us. We're getting rid of the friends that no longer fit us. We're getting rid of the ones that have holes in them, you know, emotionally speaking. We're getting rid of things that don't make us feel good about ourselves anymore. We're getting rid of friends that don't make us feel good about ourselves anymore because they're not friends. So the biggest way to know whether somebody is a part of your tribe or not is, how do you feel when you leave? Do you feel exhilarated and happy and joyful and wanting to hear from this person again? Or do you leave that conversation feeling like, oh, fuck me, Jesus Christ, I feel like I've been slimed. You know, it's like, how do you feel? Do you feel energized? Do you feel happy? Do you feel joyful? Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel, you know, if you feel hopeful and all those things, that's a keeper. If you're feeling drained and exhausted and depressed and questioning yourself and familiar to the original abuse, then this is somebody you do not want in your life. So yeah, it does feel weird, and it does feel like we're getting rid of a lot of known people. And how do we find the unknown? Well, we start doing the things that we've always wanted to do. We start doing things and activities that our family of origin wouldn't let us, or that we knew we were good at, but we always got that non-permission. So that's how we start finding our tribe, is by doing things we love. That's the best way to meet people, because then you meet other people that are doing also things that they love, and you have something in common, and it's joyful, and it's creative, and whatever. So yeah, so it is common, and it's because it's just like in AA. So when somebody starts getting sober, think of it this way. When somebody starts getting sober, all of a sudden the family and the friends, oh, here, come on, have a drink. Oh, no, it won't hurt you. Oh, no, come on, just one, because they don't want you to change. They don't want you to get sober. They don't want you to see. They don't want you to take the beer goggles off and really see the dysfunction for what it is. So it's the same thing with mental health. When somebody starts doing the workbooks, changing, growing, it frightens the hell out of the ones around you that are not willing to grow, not changing, not getting healthy, because then they start feeling bad about themselves. But rather than go, oh, gee, maybe I should be doing the workbooks too, they then go, you need to stop. You've changed. I don't like it. You need to get, they want the status quo. They want us to get back to the status quo so that they don't have to think or change or feel or anything else. Hallmark of somebody who is disordered. You don't want them in your life. You don't. They are not your tribe. Okay, I think that is yes. I think that is all the questions that I have for today. And I wanted to tell you what I was doing on Sunday because I came up with a topic. Hang on just a second. Let me bebop over here and see if I can find it. Also, if you guys wanted to leave suggestions for topics, you can leave them in the comments below. Or you can IM me on Facebook at We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez. That would be cool and groovy. No, it's not in this one. Where the heck did I see it? Hang on. Got to go through all these different websites I have. Also, if you want to get an idea of who I am as a person, go to the LPC page. That's where I post everything that I enjoy. Oh, here it is. All right, I want to talk about the sense of dread, or the sense of when is the other shoe going to drop? So when things start going well, why do we self-sabotage? Why do we sit there and go, oh, you know, the other shoe's going to drop any second now. I can't enjoy this. I can't have fun. I can't be in the moment. I've got to wait for the other shoe to drop. So I want to talk about that on Sunday, because a lot of us do that. And it's because of our abuse. And I want to talk about how, when, why, and how to stop it. That would be great. So I'm going to talk about magic thinking on Sunday. It's kind of a form of magic thinking, but it's also a form of self-sabotage. So the other shoe. I'm going to talk about the other shoe, and I think that's going to be the title of the show. So, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop. So anyway, I want to talk about that because we need to stop self-sabotaging. We do. We have a right to be happy, and fuck anybody who says otherwise. So anyway, that's it, guys. So I hope everybody is doing well. Please continue to maintain 6 feet minimum. Wear masks if you're going out shopping. Stay safe, drink a lot of water, take care of yourselves, listen for neighbors. If you hear any sort of domestic violence going on, don't wait. If it sounds murderous, call the police. Please do. We just had another shooting in the area, a couple, you know, so it's, anyway. So, yes, please do pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to if somebody sounds like they're being beaten, please call the police. All right, kids, that's it. I hope everybody's safe and healthy, and I will see you on Sunday, and the topic will be waiting for the other shoe. So talking about self-sabotage, talking about magic thinking, why we can't be happy, or why we've gotten that message about not being happy. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.